been signed. So it's not like baseball where you're like, well, they're just being cheap. They're up against the cap every single year. It makes no sense.
Well, I mean, what I don't understand is this notion that somehow this is all his fault. How is this Pat's fault? Why was he the villain? And of course, it's very Chargers. Very, 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 very Chargers gold. That Justin Herbert would become the richest quarterback in the NFL in an average annual per year basis, and somehow Patrick Mahomes would be the story. Right? No. No, of course not. It's not his fault. Also, what do you think? He's just not going to get paid? You think he's not going to raise it? They've already admitted it. They've already told you. Patrick Mahomes has addressed it. Brett Veach has addressed it. I think Clark Hunt talked about it. Every single person inside of the entire organization admitted what we're all talking about, which is this deal will eventually get taken care of. And of course, it will get taken care of. And also, if he isn't the highest paid, who cares? Do you think Clark Hunt's getting richer because Patrick Mahomes takes less? Don't they have like 92 cents in available cap space? What extra money? What do you think? He's just rolling that into his personal bank account? Is he making more money because they're winning more? Because Patrick Mahomes is taking less? Because he's spending the same on the team. So let's just be very clear.
Yeah, in fact, they're towards the top of the league too, because if that was one of the complaints Belichick's had recently with Robert Kraft. He kind of called them out that they haven't been that. The Chiefs have, if you look at the signing bonuses of contracts they've been handing out, they've been spending plenty of money. That's not been the issue at all.
No, and so I guess that's what's confusing about it. Does he think he's just going to get rich because they win more? I thought we spent decades applauding that when it was Tom Brady. The only story I ever remember ever being written about Tom Brady is what a team guy. Superhero. All he cares about is winning. And Mahomes all of a sudden is somehow the bad guy. What a monster for taking all of this money.
I don't think even Florio's tweets are about Mahomes. They're saying the Chiefs are the terrible person. I don't think they're saying... even Andrew Brandt's tweet, none of it had to do with Mahomes, like, how could you? It has been like as if the Chiefs are getting one over on him or whatever. You know, that like as if they brainwashed him to accept the $497 million contract that he got.
Like
he wanted to make sure the Chiefs had flexibility. He wanted to make sure the Chiefs had flexibility. And yeah, he is going to have to get this deal restructured at some point. But it's weird. This goes back to even the running back stuff the last 2 weeks. I don't get it. Why you would think that there are members of the media that are getting percentage of future earnings of some of these players. The way I don't know if it's just because their buddies are NFL agents that give them all the scoop and they don't want to piss them off and they're trying to go to bat for it. It's weird. It's very bizarre.
A lot of paying attention to other people's bank accounts. And also, do you think Mahomes is an idiot or something? Like he's just been taking, like at least when like the Royals did this with Salvador Perez, right? And everyone was basically like, this is a shame. He signed a 6-year, $18 million deal. I'm like, first, they paid him, so just let it go. But also, even if they didn't, it's not like he wasn't of sound mind. That was life-changing money for him at that time. Patrick Mahomes, and here's the other thing about him signing this deal is, it's like, well, look at how few of the guarantees. I'm like, do you think he's not getting that money? Do you think Patrick Mahomes, when he signed that piece of paper, didn't think he was going to get all the money just because they didn't give him as much up front? Dude, he's getting every cent. He's the best quarterback on the planet. Largely what I think that this is about is because they realize that they are dangerously close, like 18 months to 2 years away from every single, because the AFC is loaded with really good quarterbacks, from every single quarterback in the AFC being paid a tremendous amount of money. And when that happens, the playing field is even and everyone's making a bunch of money, they're screwed. They're all screwed. Patrick Mahomes has been beating them when the playing field wasn't equal. When they still had quarterbacks on rookie deals making no money, Patrick Mahomes was still coming out on top. And when everyone gets paid, they're in big trouble.
Yeah,
because Justin Herbert's got all this money, he hasn't accomplished anything. He didn't even have a playoff win.
And eventually Mahomes will once again be the highest paid, right? We know that. There'll be a restructure or something. But to your point, the days of the Chargers and the Cincinnati Bengals and the Jags only paying $22 million a year for their quarterback. Those days are just about done for all of those teams. And yeah, you can say, well, there'll be some new young quarterbacks. You know, the Texans have C.J. Stroud. Well, we'll see what C.J. Stroud turns out to be, right? But right now, it doesn't matter because they're not a factor in the conversation. If Stroud turns out to be one of those really special quarterbacks, then yeah, that will be an advantage that they have at some point. But out of the quarterbacks that we're discussing, we know the Chiefs, with Brett Veach, can assemble a championship roster while having a quarterback making over $40 million a year. We know that. It's a fact. We just saw it. we'll find out. If Cincinnati, by the way, those teams haven't been able to do it when it's not. So, can they do it when Joe Burrow is eventually making $45 million a year? Can the Chargers do it when Herbert's making $52.5 million per year? Again, they haven't been able to do it when he's not been making $52.5 million either.
Well, and quarterback pay is going up higher than the average cap raise. So NFL teams have decided to pay a higher percentage of the cap over this time to quarterback. If you go back to 2005, 2006, and what quarterbacks are paid related to the cap, it has gone up higher than the percentage of the cap has gone up. They're paying them a larger percentage of the available cash to quarterbacks versus any other position pretty significantly. Now, look, that's partially because like running back pay has gone down and all this other stuff, which is why in Kansas City we don't care. But the most fascinating thing to me now, so, okay, Herbert makes a bunch of money. We knew that. We already knew we were going to have to be like, hey, can you win once he's not paid? He's still a low cap hit this year. They actually took $10 million off his cap hit next year. So they got 2 years. They got 2 years of runway where he's not a massively expensive wide receiver. They have 4 other players who make $30 million on their team on average annual. So they're going to have to balance that and figure that out. But they got a 2-year run. That's everyone's run. That's Burrow's run. That's Herbert's run. That's everybody. The thing that interests me about Burrow is publicly, he has talked a lot like Mahomes. So is he going to upset the apple cart here again, which would help Kansas City, or is he just going to go for the big payday? Best thing for the Chiefs, he takes the biggest possible payday. 5 years, $265 million. You can look at the last 4 contracts signed. He would be 5 years for $265, $270. If that's been the straight across the board. To me, it's fine if he takes a 10-year deal, but I'm curious to see if he'll be the only other guy that I think could do what Mahomes did.
I don't think Burrow's going to do that either. I think it was such a unique spot with the Chiefs and Mahomes being on the same page. I also think if you are, what is it, Mike Brown is the owner, is that right, of the Cincinnati Bengals? I think that's his name. Not 100% sure on that one. I don't know why that's the name that comes to mind. But anyway, I don't think he's willing to give a 10-year deal because we've heard Cincinnati is typically a cheap organization.
Yeah. And
you can say the salary cap. I'm talking about the cash and money and escrow and things like that have to happen. A lot of people commenting on the video stream today saying Cody looks like a naked dog because he doesn't have glasses. Again, he broke his glasses, and yes, it looks weird. You guys think it's weird. I'm staring right at him. You guys think it's weird just on the stream.
How many days have you seen me without glasses in my entire time? 2?
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, because I broke up. I think I break them or lose them one other time since I've been doing the show. I don't know. It sucks, man. I don't like not having glasses. I feel weird. I don't like the way my vision feels with it. Is my eye going lazy? It'll do that sometimes.
Yours is different because you actually can't see very well. Not wearing contacts and glasses really is amazing. It's a great feeling. But yours is different. You just broke your glasses.
I can't see without. Again, they're two different pieces.
Just tape the glasses.
I didn't like the tape.
Well, nobody wants tape on their glasses.
Well, I didn't like the way it felt. I didn't think it was holding very well.
Just so you can see to get through the show.
I've got some white duct tape or whatever. And it's like 2 separate glasses. This is worse.
That's gonna hurt. It's hurting my eyes just looking at that.
It just makes me feel loopy and stupid. Oh, there you go. Uh-huh. Look, does it kind of look normal? This one's sagging a little bit.
Yeah.
Do I look normal again?
No, you don't.
Which version of it makes it work?
Anyway.
I'm beyond fascinated of what Burrow does because that could change the entire dynamic. To me, the biggest advantage for the Chiefs is if he takes a 5-year, $265, $270 million deal. Everybody's making the same money. All you have to do to make Patrick Mahomes right is to keep extending this thing out 1,000,000 years and then make it an average of 53.5. Shove all the money around, tear up the old deal. It won't matter because they'll still have the advantage. I'm looking forward to 2 years from now. When Patrick Mahomes is 30 years old, he'll still be the best quarterback in the NFL. He'll still have the best head coach in the NFL. And in addition to that, he will have the equal playing field of 8 of the AFC quarterbacks being rich. Watson will still be making his money. Mahomes, Herbert, Burrow, Lawrence will be paid by then. The entire damn AFC will be under a $50 million contract.
That's the other part. I'm glad you mentioned Deshaun Watson because we've noticed, again, he's the only quarterback that's ever getting that kind of deal. That's how bad the deal was. That's also how pissed off NFL owners were. We've seen Hurts get a new deal, Lamar Jackson, now Herbert, soon to be Burrow, and none of them from any other team are getting a fully guaranteed contract the way Deshaun Watson did. And we know they're all better than Deshaun Watson. But that's how desperate and stupid the Cleveland Browns were.
Yeah, and by the way, their desperation and stupidity is not gonna pay off in any way. Turns out, has it ever paid off? Has desperation and stupidity in sports ever really paid off big time?
And look, I probably in the minority here. I do think Deshaun Watson will have, and the Cleveland Browns actually will be better than people think this year. But that contract next year is even worse than it is this year in Cleveland, and they're in a terrible spot. But I do think Cleveland will surprise some people in terms of being competitive. I'm not saying they're going to be one of the top teams in the AFC. No. But I think they will be better. They're not going to be like a 6 or 7 win team. I do think they have a chance to be interesting in the AFC North and maybe cause some problems for Baltimore and in Cincinnati.
Twitch is pointing out, which I think we both agree with. If Mahomes demanded a fully guaranteed contract, could he get it?
Yeah, he's the only player that really
but
is
he could,
deserving of it.
But he could also get it. Like if he just said, we're done with this.
If you want to play that.
And I want a 5-year contract and I want it fully guaranteed and I want it for $65 million a year. You would have to just say, okay, sure, Pat. I mean, it's going to make it harder for us to win, but here's your big pile of money.
He's really the only player, not only on the Chiefs, but in the league that can pull that card.
Yeah, but he's not going to.
No,
he
understands,
he can, but
he understands where he's at. He's got 2 rings in his back pocket. He signed the deal after getting his first ring. And yeah, he's going to restructure at some point because he's not going to be the 15th highest paid quarterback, okay, and be okay with that, nor should he.
No.
But 8th right now, maybe even there's a chance of restructure before the start of the season. But he is all about legacy and making sure that they have money to keep Chris Joneses of the world around. That's why it'll also be interesting if they don't sign Chris Jones long term. Because you're like, wait, I signed this contract to keep this roster. And what, you're going to let Chris Jones walk at the end of the year?
And you already let Tyreek go. And we've already let Juju go. You're like, you can't let everybody go if I'm going to do all this friendly contract stuff. Now, here's the thing. They are still right up against the cap. Because they're still paying Frank Clark. They're still paying for when... They're on the back end of when they were paying all those players all that money. When Mahomes was on his cheaper deal. That's honestly what's happening. Mahomes' number ballooned, and they're on the back end of when they were paying everyone when they had the quarterback on the cheap deal. When they had, he was a reasonable price, because he was still only like $35 million last year. When they had everybody on the cheap price, and they're still paying Clark and Jones, and they'd given Tooney his contract, and, all the money that was needing to fall off, it's fine. So, in the next couple of years, you and I both think, they're probably going to have a fair amount of money to spend based on the way that this is laying itself out.
It sets up, if you look at future cap numbers, and yeah, they're going to have to take care of some guys in-house, but they should be in a position once again to maybe make that big free agent splash in a year or two. And I think it's next offseason, and they might have to at that point. But we also know if you're Mahomes, you're getting X amount of money off the field through endorsements. I think he has the most, now with Brady out of the league, he has the most endorsements by far of any quarterback, any player. In the NFL, it's
fine.
Over $25 million a year in endorsements, I think he gets something like that.
It's the same argument, the argument that, Florio is making for him is, that makes him what do you think, Mahomes going to be broke? He said a $500 million deal, man. He's the most endorsable player in the NFL. He's getting all these Super Bowl bonuses and stuff. What do you think, he's going to be destitute because he didn't take that money? I think Pat's going to be fine. I get it. You watch other leagues and you're like, this is insane. Who was it yesterday who signed for $300 million? Jaylen Brown.
Oh, the Celtics. It's 5 years for $300 million.
Yeah, and Jaylen Brown is what? The 30th best player in the NBA? And he got $300 million in a Supermax deal. It's fully guaranteed. I get it. But there's also only 12 members per team for an NBA squad, right? They might be paying 12 guys on their entire damn roster. They're paying 53 guys in the NFL and they got a hard cap. Not a soft cap like the NBA. So you can just do whatever the hell you want. It's just different sports. Sometimes you just have to take it out of perspective.
We know the last couple of weeks, conferences in the NCAA and certainly for football season have been holding their media availability.
Yes.
Right? Media days. Big 12 just had theirs. SEC had theirs last week. I guess the American Athletic Conference, which is much weaker now because Houston's left. They're in the Big 12.
Yeah, the Big 12 really hurt them.
Yeah, and so you got teams like Charlotte now. The Charlotte 49ers. In the AAC.
Seen them in an NCAA tournament before.
Yeah, they're like, why are you talking about Charlotte? Well, because they have a new head coach who I guess was an assistant. Bill Poggi, I don't know how to pronounce it. Okay.
You're going to piss him off.
Yes, I am. Well, we're giving him attention. Maybe he'll be happy.
Yeah, we'll see.
Because he was not happy with the lack of questions at Media Day yesterday. You're the Charlotte 49ers, man.
Is he smacking the mic there?
Yeah, it's kind of, yeah, a little bit of the 3 questions. A lot of coaches are like, fine, I don't think that's more questions. He took it as disrespect. Look, this is going to go one of 2 ways. He's either going to end up being very successful there, or he'll be fired in 2 years, which you can say happens for most coaches anyway. But this seems like if he's already that's It's preseason, dude. You haven't even started losing games
It's
yet.
Barry Odom lighting the piece of paper on fire.
Yeah.
This looks bad if you get fired. You look like the guy who's a good motivator. If it's the other way, right? You step into your locker room and you're like, I care about you. I don't care what they say. If you turn this into something, fine. But a lot of times what ends up happening is when they do these things, it's just like an ego thing, Gold. They're just like, they can't get out of their own damn way. Why is he so mad? It's Charlotte. What the hell are they supposed to ask?
His first year as a head coach, first year in the conference.
They don't know anything about your
They're picked
school.
to finish last, as they probably should be. And he's like, oh, these 3 questions is all I get. What, do you want to hear himself talk for 25 minutes?
Also, where were the media days? Could, like, even a person from Charlotte who might have sent somebody there cover the team? Like a paper from Charlotte? That was probably the guy who asked the 3 questions.
Acting like Charlotte's a small town or something.
No, but I mean...
Irving, Texas.
Dude, but come on.
Dallas.
Yeah.
You can,
local media, but like local radio, like us of Charlotte, they're not sending somebody to the AAC media days just because Charlotte's in a new conference. The local paper probably would, right? Maybe a local TV station, but TV people don't like asking questions. It's a little different. They don't like them asking them as much as like writers or radio people.
You hear that, Aaron Ladd? You hear that, Rob Collins?
Actually,
Aaron,
Aaron,
calling you out.
I just said they don't like asking it as much.
Koontz?
I'm not calling them out. Aaron might ask more questions than anybody.
You just said that TV reporters.
I said they don't like asking them as much, in my opinion.
Oh, man, we're having a tough time getting an invite out to Rob and Aaron.
Well, I don't ask any questions anymore. We don't
Really?
even go. We don't even go to the press
They
conference.
bring a player to our table. We ask George Karloftis questions when that happens.
That's true. It's a little bit different circumstance. This guy should just drop it. Who cares? Who cares? I only ask you 3 questions. Take it as the win. Every other person in your job would take it as a win. Bill Self, if he got to sit at a podium, they only got to ask 3 questions.
Yeah.
Wait, that's it?
Done for the day?
If Andy only had to answer 3 questions on any media availability, he'd be psyched, thrilled, click his heels, walking out of the practice that day. He'd be so happy. Like the Fast Friday, where the Chiefs, by the way, well manicured. Because, you essentially create the atmosphere where you're not trying to ask Andy questions. But like when those are 2 minutes, that's Andy's happiest day of the week. Gets to do a full football practice, and actual games around the corner, and he doesn't have to answer questions today. It's not the best part of the job for athletes and coaches. This guy it is, apparently.
All right, coming up next, we'll take a look at the Chiefs roster a little bit. There's something I think we all, not just Cody and I think we all, as Cody and Gold family, we consider you guys family. We all have to come together and agree on one thing. We'll tell you what it is next.
The facts on this show are irrelevant.
Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete for asphalt concrete, parking lot maintenance. Gann Asphalt and Concrete, one contractor, all things parking lot, trusted in Kansas City since 1994. Online at GANN.
Oh boy.
Both for my friends at Midwest Marine Boat Company and Yamaha Motors. Got some big news.
Turn yours off
Gotta
real
go
quick.
out there with me this Saturday, July 29th at Midwest Marine Boat Company for their
where your business runs smoothly, all day, every day, just like your Chiefs. Technology Group Solutions, powering Chiefs Kingdom, and ready to do the same for you.
Put over $100,000 back in your pocket with the Freedom Loan, exclusive to Cap One Lending. You've heard us talk about the Freedom Loan for years. Here's how it works. It pays most of your principal first, eliminating thousands in interest, and taking years off your mortgage.
safety now.
Why?
This is what I like about Keller. The customer focus, the compliance focus, and the work that we do keeps your people and your property safe.
If you're missing Tyrone's great service, call Keller. Keeping the fire marshal happy since 1950. Keller Fire and Safety. KellerFire.com.
Tailgates in turkey? Yes, please. This season, score a touchdown with U.S. soy-fed turkey. Versatile, tasty.
It's the 52nd annual National Summer Arms Show. Come buy, sell, and trade at hundreds of sales tables and displays featuring vintage rifles. At the KCI Expo Center, just $12 or get a 2-day pass for $20. Kids 15 and under are free with an adult. Visit us online for show hours at nationalsummerarmshow.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand, 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/joy. That's 4hims.com/joy for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/JOY.
Ray Magliotti here for eBay Motors.
Hi, we're just easy now. Wireless company that
He's
makes
teaching a kid how to parallel park. Ouch. Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, taillights, trunk lids, license plate holders, 122 million parts. Pull up just a little bit. And headlights. They've got lots of headlights. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors, let's ride.
This is an important notice to consumers facing $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt. You may not be required to pay it all back because there are special programs that will significantly reduce the amount you owe if you qualify. Accredited Debt Relief has helped qualify consumers with over $1 billion in debt.
My
windows are down. How fun.
Debt consolidation loan. For this free information, call 800-786-3400. That's 800-786-3400.
Being a baseball play-by-play broadcaster demands a blend of learned mechanics, intense preparation, and a calm sense of entertainment. How hard is it to do this job? Let's talk to the ones who do it. This is Matt Spiegel. My new podcast, The PvP, Voices of Baseball, will bring those conversations to you as the best working and former broadcasters tell you why and how.
No payments for 90 days and finance options for everyone. Over 1,300 vehicles in stock.
MaxMotors.com.
All right, back here on Cody and Gold again. We're off the air early today. We'll be off at 11. Vern's on deck show as the Royals wrap up their series against the Guardians. It's a that's why a little quick show for us. Now, I'm seeing some more reports come out of camp, and Pete's tweeting about it. Nate Taylor, Justin Ross just made a very impressive one-handed catch. And
just happened to be a wide receiver injury.
Which is why I think we need to all come together on this thing. Okay, you guys know, prior to camp, we said, hey, in April and May, when you would text in about Justin Ross, we said, hey, it's going to cost you $1 on Venmo if you text in. And we said during camp, you can talk about him all you want because at least there's something going on.
He's on the field, sure.
But then now I want to take it a step further. If Justin Ross does not make the roster with the Tony injury, although the number game still is going to be the same because you can't put him on the PUP list.
No, but there is one less player.
Then we have to all come together. And you can join what Cody and I have been saying for months, and that is we can kill that name from the conversation of actually being impactful for this season forever.
Yeah, let's bury it. Let's just agree. You and I, we're giving a little on this too. We're saying that if he makes the roster, we will open the doors and you are allowed to bring up Justin Ross on this show as a legitimate question to where he fits inside of an offense or if he's going to have a role or any of these things. But if this man does not make the roster after Tony gets hurt, and there's not some like bevy of like superstars standing in his way, then we're done. We got to bury it. I
mean, it's fun. I still think in general that if someone is the sixth wide receiver on the team, and if that's truly what he's going to be at a camp if he makes the roster, he's getting how many snaps all season? So, like, why waste my time is, I guess, what I'm saying.
I don't know. It's the same as Jody Fortson, or we've talked about Justin Watson on this show.
Justin Watson has done more already in the league.
Well, I understand that. Way more already. But to Justin Watson's stats before last year, that was a career year for him, I think?
Probably.
So, I mean, I'm just saying, like...
But Justin Ross is not a rookie, and he hasn't played in the league.
But I will entertain actual growth from Justin Watson if he makes the roster. Justin Ross. If Justin Ross doesn't make the roster, then we got to kill it. It's done forever. Look, going into his career, Justin Watson had less than 250 total yards. He was a nothing player. He'd been in the league for 4 damn years and had 250 yards. He became a factor for the Chiefs offense. He became a factor on the show, and he finished the season with 315 yards because of injury. Because of injury. If Ross can't even break through because of that, then what are we doing here? Well, I can't be entertaining it anymore.
I just don't get the point, I guess, is what I'm saying. Unless you think suddenly at a camp he's leapfrogging 3 guys and he's all of a sudden the number 3 receiver. I don't know how.
So you would like this
I don't know how it matters.
I'm trying to give people an option here, okay? Open the door for them a little bit. But I want them to come to our side, which is kill this conversation forever if the man doesn't make the roster. Let's just kill him. The training can't be damned. I'm glad he made, like a 15 or 20-yard catch across the road. By the way, Speck is now in running the board briefly because poor JT, the intern, said, I didn't realize it was supposed to rain today.
Well, neither did I.
And then he said, my windows are down. So I'm guessing that's where he went.
Yeah, I didn't know it was going to rain either, but he's back already. There you go. I was wondering when you were like Specs over there. Like, what's the problem? Speck and Justin Ross? I didn't know if Speck was a Justin Ross stan or something.
No, he just demanded studio time to talk about Justin Ross.
I just don't. Truly, like, it's nothing against Justin Ross personally. It could be some guy named Bob Smith that was the talk of the town for not doing anything that might, at best case scenario, be the 6th receiver. That's all. I don't get it. And you mentioned Jody Fortson. I know we obviously when Nick was here with Jody Fortson and everything like that. But if you recall 2 camps ago when former Kansas City Star beat writer Herbie Teope was talking about Jody Fortson and the 4 tight ends, and all of a sudden I'm like, why are we talking about it so much? They're not going to use this formation. Remember, was it 16 personnel? 14, not 16.
14. 14 personnel.
Can't be 16.
16 be too many guys.
It'd be too many. I still butchered it. You
12 personnel.
Yeah, it can't.
13 personnel.
That's anyway. Point bang. They only used it twice or 3 times all year. I just don't know why we're wasting our time. That's all. Someone says everybody at this station hates Justin Ross. There's no reason. It's not hating him. Do you guys want to talk about people who are going to play this season? Or do you not want to talk about people who are going to play this season? That's what it is for me. It's as simple as that. If you want, we can go. We get a whole roster when we go up to camp. And there's more than 53 guys, and there's some guys on the list that we know just flat out are never making the team. Do you want us to talk about them?
We're not going to play much.
You want us to talk about them?
We can talk about Danny Shelton some more.
Sure.
Did he play for the Chiefs last year? Did he get on the field?
He was active maybe a game or something. I don't know. Someone says he makes the roster week 1, anytime touchdown.
Fine.
He makes the roster. He may not even be active on game day.
I'm telling you that, but here's the thing, text line. I'm telling you, I'll come to your side.
All right.
The man makes the roster. I will open up a small, but a platform for a Justin Ross discussion at 610 Sports Radio. If he doesn't make the roster, then we're done. I think that this is a fair deal. Let's just agree that it's dead. It's dead if he doesn't make the roster. That doesn't seem all that out of the question to me. We're making a very reasonable offer. If you can come on board with, we can open up a very small platform for Justin Ross to be involved in this conversation if he makes the roster, similar to what we would have talked about with Jody Fortson, the guy who had maybe a couple hundred yards. But if he doesn't make the roster, everyone has to come on our side and just never mention his name ever again on the show. Seem fair?
Works for me, man. It definitely works for me. We're talking about quarterbacks to start the show today and contracts, and we know that Kirk Cousins and Patrick Mahomes and Marcus Mariota were just on quarterback for Netflix, and we know it's been renewed for a second season. There was some rumors out there that they had already decided who the quarterbacks are for the next season. Those are just rumors. Those aren't confirmed or true. It looked like there was one account that people ran with and said that Manning was on McAfee's show, which McAfee didn't even have a show that day, saying that it was going to be all New York quarterbacks next year. It was going to be Rodgers and Daniel Jones and Josh Allen. That's not true. That's not confirmed or true. And so now we're learning players and quarterbacks that have said they don't want to appear, which I thought was interesting. So like Justin Fields said he was approached about appearing in season 2 of quarterback, but he declined and is uninterested. It was also revealed that Matthew Stafford turned down season 1. So it could have been, I'm assuming, Mahomes, Stafford, and Mariota.
Well, it's kind of tough because now you're down to, you've already used 3
there's plenty of quarterbacks still to choose from.
You sure?
Yeah, there's some great storyline. Now, I guess they could all turn it down, but I still think if you were looking at the 3 quarterbacks for next year, not knowing who else is going to turn it down, I think between Herbert, Allen, and Burrow, one of them, to me, is who you got to strive to get. And maybe actually throw Jalen Hurts into that conversation as well. One of those 4. And then after that, you can go to the next tier. I'd like to see a younger quarterback, a Trevor Lawrence, a Justin Fields. They were thinking that as well, clearly, and that's not going to pan out. I don't think they'll ever do a rookie. I don't think any team and player is going to agree to having a rookie on the show.
Should.
I don't think you want, if you're a rookie, you've got so many other things to worry about. I don't think you.
Then a film crew.
I don't think you want that as a rookie. But I know you guys think it's boring, but I would be fine if you got Burrow, Allen, or Jalen Hurts or Justin Herbert, and then Derek Carr down in New Orleans. Although that would
always a mid-tier guy, I think is fair.
And then
Russell Wilson, should we not entertain him?
I don't think he wants the again after the mess.
He doesn't want the attention.
I don't think so.
Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
JT, is your car okay?
There's not a river in it yet. It's not that heavy of rain. It looks like it stopped just in time.
I was a little bit worried about it, of course.
The lowest tier, if you're like trying to slot in the Marriott, who's Baker Mayfield actually, who could get benched at some point, but's trying to get his career back with Tampa. Pick out of this bunch.
Yeah, it's probably.
I think you missed it. Last year should have been that.
Yeah, but I mean, of course, as you and I know, Alex, you're just kind of guessing in some of these things anyway. You're taking a shot in the dark. Yeah. You don't really know how it's going to pan out.
But I think last year was like the peak of what Geno would have been. Like you can't try. Like last year when he was interesting, he's not going to be as interesting.
When you're trying to recreate it, you're unlikely to do it. Jimmy G in Vegas. Like there are plenty of choices in which, look, I said it. Some of it is you don't know if they're going to be an interesting personality. Like Ryan Tannehill strikes me as maybe one of the most boring people on the planet. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's something to his game or something I don't know about his personal life that would make him interesting. I don't know. It's not like you went into that thing being like, I bet Kirk Cousins is super interesting, and he was easily the second most entertaining person on that show. Maybe he was the most entertaining for some people, depending on what you already knew about Patrick Mahomes. Like in our case, we already knew a lot of the stuff about Patrick Mahomes, so Kirk Cousins' story time in there becomes interesting versus Mariota, who was boring. I think that's just the risk you're going to have to take, though. You got to find 3 people who will do it, and then I'm surprised Justin Fields. Now, I'm sure the young quarterbacks will always get this option of, I'm trying to be great at this. I can't be bothered by that.
I think it's that, but also think about it. If you're a quarterback, you're getting all access away from the field as well. And, Mahomes, married with kids, was on the show.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins, in his 30s, married with kids, on the show. Mariota, married. I had a kid born, actually, while the show was going on. I think it's tough to ask, if you're Justin Fields, you're going to give unfeathered access as a 23-year-old. I think he's single, or maybe he's in a relationship. I can't remember. Justin Fields. I think it's tougher for those guys to agree to have cameras following them all the time.
I mean, probably, but it's also just, you understand that when you're playing that position, you are pretty much the biggest stars in American sports. And I get it. I understand this notion. That's why this series has a limit. It can't just be, we can't be 10 years down the road. Like, full swing.
They'll have to tweak it. Maybe, it's like,
I think you'll have to do a non-quarterback one of these times, or you have to do one of these other positions that just kind of logically fits the role, right? You're just going to have to mimic it in another way that is like, hey, it's quarterback, but sorry, this time there's one wide receiver because we can only get 2 quarterbacks on board and we've used a bunch of them. Or you're going to have to cycle back through. 4 years from now, who's to say Patrick Mahomes can't have another season of quarterback, right? You've got to figure out new, interesting ways. Well, his kids will be different. His kids will be older. His life will be different. All of our lives change in a 4-year time frame to a point where how you handle your business and your life and at what stage he is in his career then changes things, just does, naturally, for the quarterback stuff. But they're going to have to figure out a way to kind of adjust that. Because right now, I'm worried they're going to get the people turned down a little bit, and the thing that really helped them, obviously, is the fact that
well, it just is whether or not it gets predictable. That's the issue with Hard Knocks. We know, I can promise you on August the 7th, the first episode, guess what? They're going to start with the sun rising. That's going to be one of the opening shots, okay? They're going to start with the sun rising. They're going to have mic'd up, and they're going to have some player driving in a car or a coach driving the car at 5:15 in the morning. It's going to be dark out. He's going to talk about his normal routine, and how he stops and gets coffee. He's going to wave to Martha, who gives him coffee every morning. It's just way too predictable. I know what Hard Knocks episode 1 is, okay? I can't be that. Eventually, if quarterback gets predictable, and your quarterback's in the league, and everybody watched this show, and they know what people liked and what people didn't like. And so are you going to get people that are actually going to be themselves, or what they think plays well? That was what was great about season 1. They hadn't seen a show like that.
No,
they were themselves. And so I'm worried that in a couple of years you can play they're like, all right, well, you know what? People made fun of that guy for that guy, and that was dumb, and I'm not going to do that.
Do you think we'll get a full McCole Hardman episode? He feels like
on Hard Knocks?
Yeah. He feels like the kind of person you find.
He's got personality, so maybe so, yeah. Right. True.
By the way, just real quick on the text line because we've only got a few minutes left in the show. As a reminder, the show ends at 11 today because Royals Day Game Baseball against the Guardians is coming up. So Josh Vernon will be at 11. I'm actually doing the betting today.
A lot of research, huh? You did a lot of research today?
It's been pretty bleak lately.
Uh-huh.
I guess in games. So time to get back even. Like a true degenerate gambler. You know what I'm going to do? Get even today. What does that mean? Yeah, they broke. Well, maybe that's a bad sign for the day.
Can you even see to make the bet? Text line thinks we need to get you an Uber home, man. You're a detriment to society.
I have prescription sunglasses. I'll be fine. They're in the car.
Have you looked outside? It's kind of cloudy and dark. You going to be able to see? Can you see? It's a little dark. You need it to brighten up out there.
It looks like the sun's coming back out, and we have a meeting after the show. So I say a full hour before I'll have to be anywhere. But is it fair? The text line, I've seen this both on social media and the text line a couple times. I think it's a little too early, I'm going to say, for people to start calling him Kadarius Mondesi.
You started that, man.
That's not on me.
Hold on. You don't get to turn this around and start saying, how dare these people. I believe 3 days ago, 3 days ago, you said, oh, he's just Adalberto Mondesi. That's what you said.
I said
kind of like that.
I said, what
just
if
like
he's
that,
Mondesi?
Just like that is how you said it.
I said, what if? It was a question.
So you can't be criticizing. Now, do I agree that it's too early? Yes, I do. But you can't be the one saying, you called him that a couple days ago, man.
It's not too early.
No, I was just asking what if it becomes...
I mean, look, there's someone put out the list of his injury history, and there's about 7 or 8 injuries, but I don't think it's fair yet to call him Kadarius Mondesi. No, come on now.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm just asking. I've seen that a couple of times. I think people are just frustrated because anytime you get an injury-prone player and then they're injured, you're like, why didn't you see this coming? Mm-hmm. But of course, you're always like, but we'll keep him healthy this time. I'm sure that's what Boston.
Here's why I think it's too early to call him that. If he gets hurt again during the season and misses time, then I'm with you. Here's the reason why. I think he's only going to miss 1 or 2 games to start the season.
And then he'll play the rest of the year.
And so since they got 43 days till the season, I think, luckily, he's not missing any games now. And so if he only misses 1 or 2, then I don't think that's fair. Now, if he ends up only playing in 10 games this year, then go for it. You go have fun with your Kadarius Mondesi comparisons. But I don't think you should be saying that yet. I don't like off-season injuries matter, no doubt. In camp, I would like him in camp. But also, he's potentially only going to miss, technically right now, he's going to miss no games. Although you and I both probably agree that he's going to at least miss a game or 2 to start the season. But as of right this second, he's not technically missing any games. So
I've been covering Andy Reid a long time. His entire time here in Kansas City. So I guess 2013?
12.
2012? Okay, so more than a decade.
Something like that, yeah.
We covered Andy for more than a decade. When he says there's a chance, it ain't happening. I'm going to tell you.
I know he's not playing week 1.
When he says there's a chance he could play week 1, it's not going to happen.
Well, he shouldn't play week 1. You got a long-ass season. Like, there's this...
No, you and I agree there, too. There's no reason to rush him back.
2013, you were right.
For an injury-prone player. So, covering Andy Reid for a decade, when he says that, that's it. And I get it, because it's 43 days. Maybe there's a little more wiggle room or question marks, so we'll see how he heals. And now he's disputing the report that said he had his knee worked on earlier in the year. So there's a million things going on. But if he gets hurt one more time, I don't think it's unfair anymore. He gets hurt one more time in the middle of the season and misses 2 or 3 weeks. He gets hurt one more time. Because that's the thing. You have to think about it relative. Mondesi consistently played 80 to 90 games. That's like half the season. That's pretty much what Mondesi's playing. Or Tony's playing. If he plays 10 games a year...
See what you're doing? See? You've already made up your mind, man. You've already made up your mind.
If he plays 10 games a year, it's the same as the amount of time Mondesi missed. Really, all we care about with Tony is the same stuff. Be healthy in January and February, please. The rest of it, I'll probably be okay. I'll probably be all right. I saw you tweeting last night, too. Are you upset about a Skittles flavor? Yeah, or are you trying to force yourself into taste something on the
Someone texted or tweeted me after I tweeted this out, and they said that we got to do this as a challenge or just do it on the show. I'll do this on the show. That's fine. It's not that bad. I know I'm going to hate it. But there's a French's mustard Skittles flavor coming out. You know I don't like mustard. I don't put it on the hot dog. I think mustard just not a flavor. This is regular mustard too. I'm not a big fan of honey mustard either way. But this is also just regular mustard. Ugh, yellow mustard. And French's is partnered up with Skittles. So there's a first ever limited edition mustard Skittles. I mean, yes, I'll try it. It's a Skittle. It's not like it's. I would rather try a mustard Skittle than a sandwich that had mustard on it. I'll tell you that.
Really?
Yes, because at least this is still candy. But I'm not going to like it. Mustard flavor, gross.
Candy.
I would think, by the way, the ketchup, I like ketchup, but the ketchup flavor would be gross too. Mustard, though, I don't like it on a hot dog, so I'm not going to like it on a candy.
I mean, I don't think it's going to be good.
We need to get our hands on this.
I mean, how hard can it be to get?
I mean, is it out yet, or are they just announcing? It says, introducing French's Mustard Skittles. Quote, literally everyone has been asking for these. Huh?
No,
and now they're here. Want some? Visit @French's to find out how you can get your own pack. Oh, do I have to go online to do French's.com/mustard Skittles?
Actually, in fairness, it's pinned right at the top of their Twitter page, so looks like maybe we need to order some. Get mustard Skittles. Oh, I gotta sign up. My flavor profile.
Okay.
What is all this? What else I gotta sign?
French's account.
No,
I'll let you handle that.
Unsubscribe from these emails.
It just sounds gross, man. I don't need a relish Skittle. I don't need a ketchup Skittle. I don't need a mustard Skittle.
Oh, just real quick. If we end up by some chance in the hot dog derby race again for 6
yeah.
Day at the K.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, that entire race was fraudulent.
Oh, I got COVID right before it. I couldn't run.
You got COVID, peach cheese.
I didn't get to do it yet.
Wheatstone won. It's fraudulent. It's a fraudulent race.
I want to do it this year since I
Which kind of be?
I had a drop out right before. I want to be ketchup.
Because it's the only 3 of the condiments.
I mean, I would prefer ketchup. I'll be any of them, but I would prefer ketchup. It's the one I actually put on the hot dog. So it makes sense.
Okay.
You seem like a mustard guy.
Wasn't I mustard last time?
Were you? I wasn't there.
Yeah.
I don't know who's
Yeah.
gonna.
I was mustard.
Our boss Spec is gonna decide. We don't know who's doing what. I think I have a good chance of getting to do the hot dog derby because last year I was slated for it.
You get to do it.
And Pete had to fill in. I was a late scratch. I was really bummed. I told you I'm undefeated in a potato race at a baseball game when I was a French fry in the spud race.
This is the earliest brandy ever. By the way, we have like a Friday
Long
day
show, man. Tough job today.
We have a Friday day game in a couple of weeks. So we're going to do Club 610 at like 11 a.m. So I think we got to go brunch thing. We got to think like mimosas. We got to be doing like brunchy drinks from Rieger. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do a screwdriver. Can we get a screwdriver with Jay Rieger's vodka?
I think so.
Screwdriver sounds phenomenal. I was going to say go to the pool. It stopped raining. Maybe I can get to the pool later. I'll listen to Vern talk some Royals baseball with you. And I'll listen to some Royals game. I got some money on the Royals game as well. Under 1.5 in the first inning. With a couple of these other early baseball games as well. Thanks to JT for running the show today. We'll talk to you guys for a full show tomorrow. Centric.
This summer.